Today we're going to talk about quantiles and I'll show you how to create a box and whisker. But before we get into that, how about a riddle? What did the ocean say to the sea? Nothing. He just waved. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. First of all, quantiles, that's just a fancy way of saying groups. We're going to break the total population into equal groups. There are some really popular quantiles that are used quite a bit. 4 groups, we call that quartiles. 5 groups, quintiles. 10 groups, deciles. 100 groups, we call percentiles. And that's probably the most popular of all of them. All of you, whether you know it or not, have been broken into most of these groups at some point, whether it's for test scores or doctor's visits or your height or IQ or anything like that. Let's start with an example. Let's say I line up all of the students in a class from tallest to shortest. If there are 40 students, how many would be in each? A quartile, B quintile, C decile. So let's start with part A for a quartile. If there are 4 groups and we have 40 students, then we're going to do 40 divided by 4, and that would be 10 students per group. And it's really just that easy, but I need you to be clear on this before we move to the next part. Quintiles, we would break into 5 equal groups, and that would be 8 students per group. If we did deciles, that would be 10 equal groups, and each group would consist of 4 students. Okay, so if we look at deciles, that'd be 4 students in the top group, 4 in the next, 4 and 4, until we had 10 groups of 4 students. So we might say you were in the first decile, or maybe even say the top 10% for height in your group. Oftentimes, babies are broken into percentiles for their height or their weight. Let's say we did percentiles and the doctor says, hey, your child is in the 97th percentile for height. That means if you broke up every baby, put them in order by height, and broke into 100 groups, your child would be the 97th, so you'd have group 100, group 99. Actually, sometimes they just start at group 99 for the top. But nonetheless, you'd be in the 3rd or 4th highest group. Let's look at norm reference test. If you've ever taken a state test like California high school exit exam or whatever types of exams are given, like we had the SAT, for example, that's a norm reference test, and they scale that with the score. But in Long Beach Unified, we used to give a test and say that the students were advanced proficient, proficient, basic, below basic, or far below basic. And this is based on 5 equal groups. So if you had 5 equal groups, that means the students, 20% of the students would fall here. And that's just putting the scores in order from high to low. The next 20% here, 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 and here. So, for example 2, based on a norm reference test, how do you compare to other students in math? So let's look at the math bar. It appears to me that if this is your score, you scored better than 80% of students who took this test. Or you might even say better than 4/5 of the students. You could even say 20% of the students scored better than you. I just like to look at the glass being half full than half empty. For English, we could say better than, based on this bar, 80%, then 60%. For science, let's see. Ooh, that's around halfway. So I'd say better than 70% based on that. And based on these numbers, they give you a ranking. By the way, if you hit that border for math, that would make you advanced proficient. Okay? Even for English, we would say that's proficient, even though it's right at the bottom, and science would also be proficient. Box and whisker plots. Once we've broken the data into 4 equal groups, which are quartiles, we can create a box and whisker plot. This shows how those 4 groups spread out. And I'm going to teach you how to create one with the lowest number to the highest number. Also, let's remember what a median is. That's just the middle number. If you put all the numbers in order, the number in the middle is your median. The lower hinge is just the median of the lower half. And conversely, the upper hinge is the median of the upper half. I'll show you how to find these numbers. Example 3. Create a box and whisker plot from the given quiz scores. I've already put these quiz scores in order. In order to make a good box and whisker, you would need a ruler. I'm going to show you just how to do a rough draft, and then on your paper you can use a ruler and draw it to scale. So first of all, I like to just draw a generic box and whisker and establish my numbers. Lowest number, 61. Highest, 100. Now I have 6 times 4, that's 24, 25, 26 numbers all together. So that would mean 13 numbers are in each half. 6 and 6 is 12, 13. So these 13 numbers would be the lower half, and these numbers would be my upper half. Since there's no number right in the middle, we take the average of these two. So 75 plus 76 divided by 2 would be 75.5. That would be my median. My lower hinge would be the median of this lower half. There are 13 numbers. So that would give me 6 and 6 with one number right in the middle. This is my lower hinge, 67. On the upper hinge, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So notice we have 4 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've broken the data into 4 equal groups. But my upper hinge, notice, it's not really a part of either group. It stands in the middle, which is nice because we don't have to average anything. So here we've established our numbers, and now we can draw this to scale. So what I like to do is create a ruler, but you do need a ruler to do this properly. And let's see, I think I'll go from 60 to 100. So 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Okay, that gives a good enough range for the low and the high. So it's like I took a ruler and I've created this scale. Now I would approximate 61 is here. 67 would be around here. 75.5, 81, and 100. Wow, this is nice. Again, I would take a ruler and try to do a really good job and create my box and whisker. Now, also, I would list those numbers, and you can go above or below. With those numbers. And of course, with any data, you would want to give it a title, maybe where the scores came from, period 1, FST, quiz 1 scores. And you may even want to give it a date. Excuse the bells ringing. You may even want to give it a date, a time. You may even want to say Poly High School, Long Beach, California.